President Joe Biden meeting with the Tennessee Three yesterday. The three lawmakers who were threatened with expulsion, two of them were expelled, but they were brought back by their local party leaders. All about gun control. And the president meeting with those three, making this statement in the Rose Garden, which has got a lot of people critical of what the president had to say about whose children are whose children.
Rebecca put a teacher's creed into words when she said, "There's no such thing as someone else's child. No such thing as someone else's child. Our nation's children are all our children." Rebecca put a teacher's creed into words when she said, "There's no such thing as someone else's child. No such thing as someone else's child. Our nation's children are all our children."
And a lot of parents hear that and they don't like that idea. People who have children will say, "I'm not co-parenting with the government." The parent is the parent of that child. It's not the government that's the parent of that child. While that was in the context of firearms legislation, I think the same is being debated when it comes to issues of children and whether or not they can change their gender or their pronouns or even their names. And you've got legislation that looks to limit access to that type of gender surgery, reassignment surgery, or hormone blockers or hormone supplementation, and so on. But even the ACLU is suing to block a Missouri rule on who can get this type of medical process. What some are calling gender-affirming health care. Others see it as either hormone therapy or genital mutilation. But they're arguing, the ACLU in St. Louis, that the state has no authority to use a state consumer protection law to regulate this type of care through emergency rulemaking. So interesting battle happening down in Missouri. But a lot of people are saying they don't care about the drag queen story hours. That's not what they care about. They care about what their children are being exposed to. And the supposition that it's not your child, it's all our children. Something people are pushing back against, including up in Montana, where you've got Republican legislative leaders looking to forbid certain types of processes being done to children when it comes to this gender ideology that we're seeing. And you had a transgender lawmaker in Montana make a pretty let's just say inflammatory comments the other day. This is Zoe Zephyr, who spoke just before some of the questions of how to address this type of care and whether it's going to be available to children. Zoe Zephyr, here's what she said on the Senate or on the legislature's floor in Montana.
He said Montanans who struggle with their gender identity deserve love, compassion, and respect. That's not what trans Montanans need from you. We need access to the medical care that saves our lives.
But some are saying that that access should be gender surgery and hormone treatment for minors, for children, and that they should be allowed to get that treatment without their parents knowing about it. And again, here's Zoe Zephyr.
If you vote yes on this bill, and yes on these amendments, I hope the next time there's an invocation, when you bow your heads in prayer, you see the blood on your hands.
So the legislature there in Montana not taking that lightly, and very inflammatory statement there from Zoe Zephyr, and they refused to let her talk, which led to a protest on the gallery of the Montana legislature, and here's how that sounded. So the transgender lawmaker, she held a microphone in the air and supporters chanted, "Let her speak." The interruption lasted for a bit, even some arrests being made. So obviously there's a lot of passion behind the debate of whether or not children should be allowed to get access to what some see as harmful and irreversible surgeries on their genitalia, or hormone treatments, which could have a whole host of things like infertility or even possible cancer. So yeah, there's an ongoing debate about this, and who knows where it goes from here. But President Joe Biden, again, making a statement about how it's not your children, it's everybody's children. Good morning. Real quick call. Let's go to the phones. You're on WMAY.
Real quick statement. That sounded like an insurrection to me.
We've seen it in Tennessee as well, where people are seeming to be emboldened of sorts with certain mentalities and pushing their perspective without any recognition of the deliberative process in a civil society. Real quick call. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hey, Greg, good morning, man. As always enjoy listening to you. I'm going to miss you for the week, brother. But, hey, I tell you what, I believe in letting them speak. My only thing is it's very one-sided. If you was to say, inject any other thing, like, hey, I'm going to take your child to church without the parents knowing, or, hey, I'm going to take your child to the gun range and teach them how to shoot without the parent knowing, I think their position would be adamantly no, because it's their child and they have the right to know what's going on with their kid.
Yeah, so I think teaching gun skills in school, is that an idea worth pursuing? Some people would say, yeah, absolutely. I want my kid to learn and respect a firearm. Other parents would shy away from that. Interesting dynamic there. Real quick, good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning. All I know is basically every decision that I made before the age of 25, and I'm 47 now, I don't even know what I was even thinking at the time. The women that I dated, the things I did, I don't know what child has the foresight to know something so deep at such an early age. Who of us doesn't regret the decisions we made, every stupid thing we did growing up? All of us.
And really, I mean, your mind doesn't seem to develop fully and mature fully until about that age. I appreciate the call. One more before the break. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
All right. What business does government have to be involved in something that's unnatural to begin with? The Declaration says that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator certain unalienable rights, and that is life, liberty, and happiness. Government comes in there and interferes in between something that's not natural. That is a permanent action. Can't be reversed. Therefore, government has no business being involved.
Appreciate the calls. Got to take a break. It is Springfield's Morning News on WMAY.
92.7 WMAY.